Oh boy, guys, we got a new Pillar of Garbage video to watch. You guys have been recommending this one to me for a few days now. It's brand new. It's only 2 days old. It is getting a lot of views, too. I love that Pillar of Garbage is growing. I'm not going to credit myself for that. I'm just happy I shouted this dude out, like, for the last couple years. I hope that I played some part in helping to grow his channel. I hope it continues to grow even further. There was a time where he had less subs than I did when I was reacting to his content. I love watching underrated content creators start to gain the success that they deserve. It makes me very happy. And Pillar of Garbage is one of these creators that deserves a lot of success. He has made some of the best content calling out the anti-woke grift from creators like The Critical Drinker and The Quartering. He is, and Mahler. I love his, hey, what's Mahler doing here? One of his best running jokes, or ongoing jokes. And I highly recommend that if you have not already, that you go check out the original video. I just linked in both my chats. Go check out the original video, go leave a like, and if you haven't already, most definitely subscribe and ring the bell icon on Pillar of Garbage's channel. Some of the best progressive content being made right now. I could almost say, I don't like to compare other YouTubers to YouTubers, but for the sake of an audience member who wants to get like the best approximation of the vibe of his content, I'd honestly say he's quickly becoming like the new H-Bomber guy of sorts, you know? Like, I wouldn't say that he's like aping H-Bomber guy's bit, but like the way the videos are like very well thought out, well put together, like takedowns of a situation or a person that put into words what a lot of people were already feeling. It gives us a similar catharsis to an H-Bomber Guy video in that way. So if you like H-Bomber Guy, you'll like Pillar of Garbage. Though he's definitely doing his own thing, to be very clear. So he put out a video called A Video Essay About Efficiency. We're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously, because I just want to give you a taste, so you go out and seek out the original video and channel to watch the rest of it yourselves on the original video, giving the original video watch time and views, etc. But, I want to give a little bit of a watch to this because he takes on Elon Musk, and this is one of my favorite creators. So if you guys haven't seen him before, buckle up. You're in for some good content. I have not watched this, of course, so let's not put it off any longer. Let's start this. Let's get into it.
Variety's kind of like a video essay. Hear me out. In June of last year, episode 1 of The New Norm, styled as X's first animated sitcom, was released on the platform formerly known as Twitter. The show follows a conservative.
Oh my gosh. Sorry,
a family
my stream,
trying desperately to stay sane in today's hopelessly woke America, and
I miss the old
laughs
norm
along the way.
Hey, pronoun, this bud's for you.
Ha, ha. Sample plotlines include a non-binary...
God, man. It's so... like, everything about this was so cringe. Like, the animation is horrible. The voice acting is not great. The character designs are, like, unpleasant to look at. You know what I mean? It's so uninspired and weird. Hey, pronoun.
Re-education officer indoctrinating Norm, our protagonist, who was arrested for not being woke enough, a DEI hire accidentally killing Vladimir Putin, and gay beer. Obviously, plenty of people have talked about The New Norm on YouTube already.
Yeah.
In 2025, this isn't beating a dead horse so much as it is digging that horse's grave up and half-heartedly smacking the dust that used to be its skeleton, but it remains a good case study in efficiency, an anemic portrait of a form utterly dominated by its ends. Because The New Norm was never a web series, not really. It's web series as engagement farming, web series as marketing device. The cast...
He's not wrong, to be honest. He's really not wrong. One thing that I've noticed is I don't think there's been a single, like, episode of The New Norm yet. Like, there was the pilot that was, like, heavily centered around glazing Elon, and they posted as a reply to Elon. There's the election one. There's multiple that aren't even episodes they did as ads. It's not even like, they aren't doing a show so much as they're doing, like, occasional commentary using this cast and there's no, I guess it's technically a web show in a way, but it's not like a has-been hotel or an amazing digital circus. It's not like an indie animation project that's going to have like episodes and a story and character arcs or anything. It's just animated propaganda that's meant to be topical and often used to advertise something.
Engagement farming, web series as marketing device. The cast are conservative influencers, not voice actors.
Well put.
The show's creators are primarily marketers and political consultants. Akiva Prell, then going by Michael Prell, did write one book nearly 15 years back,
Russian,
Underdogma, How America's Enemies Use Our Love for the Underdog to Trash American Power. Supposedly a work of political analysis, though that label feels a little generous. His day job is running Creative Capital. Though that label feels a little generous.
Ronald Reagan's Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Policy. Get it? Because it raises an eyebrow?
His day job is running Creative Capital, a firm that creates free ad campaigns in exchange for a huge split of their clients' profits, and whose website boasts an endorsement from Likud. You know,
Netanyahu?
Israel's genocide party. That begins to make more sense when you realize Akiva also runs AGNC Group, which, judging from their website, is a rabidly fascistic political marketing firm, boasting to be, among other things, the brains behind the shifting of Jewish voters in Canada from left to right. Cool. Co-create.
And I bet in America, too. Guys, do you know what percentage of American Jews voted for Trump due to the polarization and feeling like the attacks on Israel politically were an attack against Jews? I think it was like 32% of American Jews voted for Trump. That's a big enough percentage to have swung the vote for Kamala, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's enough. And then, of course, you've got the Muslim community that voted pretty consistently for Trump, regardless of their ethnicity. Just went pretty... I don't know what the percent was. I think it was like 40-something, which is astonishing when you consider Trump's track record, but... The political lineup on, or the alignment on rhetoric and goals at that time with MAGA, it just, man, like oh, God. I hate that people on the left actually defended Hamas. My aunt who's Jewish voted for Trump, yeah, probably believed the whole, like, every single person advocating for Palestine is pro-Hamas talking point, right? And unfortunately, there were a few people who were pro-Hamas, you know, Hassan at least being one of them in certain occasions, and that didn't do any favors for certain people that ended up voting differently. Like, you had people who didn't vote at all or voted for Trump because they thought, fuck, like any defense or support for Israel. And then you had people who saw any criticism of Israel as anti-Semitism. Both of these tendencies benefited Trump in the end.
Creator Sophia Prell, perhaps Akiva's wife, it's unclear, seems to claim some experience or interest in screenwriting, but the only evidence of this is a profile on a writer's social network site, which links back to Akiva's marketing firm. Not a passion project, this one then. Further information around the show's development is scarce. Now deleted and Wayback Machine excluded posts on a proto-New Norm website called Woke World credit a Yariv Newman as the artist, someone who, as one Reddit post suggested last year, might not even exist. Regardless of who put the show together, though, it's clearly been done on the cheap. The project became infamous.
I think it's building up to a crypto scam. That's my theory. It's building up to a crypto scam.
In part due to that very AI-sounding theme song.
The new norm ain't the same.
Yeah, it's AI.
I'm the old.
Keemstar uses the same AI singing voice for like his live stream shows. I occasionally like dip into his Lolcow Live podcast. Awful shit, but it's sometimes quite entertaining. and his intro is the same AI, like country singer voice. It's an AI. I do think that all of this is just a lead into a crypto scam. I think there's going to be a rug pull. New Normcoin. Normcoin. There's going to be Normcoin, and it's going to get rug pulled hard. Dave Rubin is going to make a lot of money.
Norm. I want normal beer.
Other posts on Wokeworld did get screenshotted, including a business plan pitch deck of sorts, which makes it clear short-term profitability via culture war virality was always the only.
No, please tell me. Crypto. I don't see any crypto stuff, guys.
Virality was always the only goal here. Hence the premise, the Musk and X glazing.
I don't know. I have no evidence. But I think this all leads to a rug pull.
And the stars.
Normcoin.
The proposition's attractive enough to a JP Sears or Dave Rubin, right? Plug your mic in, do some line reads, retweet the thing when it gets made, and we both get to ride each other's algorithmic coattails. The screenshots also reveal that, at one point, the intention had been to release full 20-minute episodes. Clearly, though, micro-length runtimes better served the show's purposes, because the new norm doesn't care about telling
content.
stories or being a sitcom. Obviously, it just wants to go viral, and you go viral in clips. If you pack the buzzwords and caricatures in tight enough, you get more or less the same viral potential with a 3-minute drop as you would with a longer one. So why bother picking up the Kremlin's role as Dave Rubin's paypig in exchange for
We never, ever, ever let them live this down, guys. All these people were taking money from Russia, and the DOJ exposed them for it. Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, I think Candace Owens was as well. All these people were taking money from Russia, getting millions shilled out to them from Russia. Not only were they making millions off of their YouTube channels, they were getting paid by the Kremlin. That's why Tim Pool has a skate park in his basement, and then when the Russia money dried up, he had to fire a shitload of people and pretend it was because of some creative disagreements, and had some pretend breakdown on his show, which just so happened to coincide a month after the Russia money dried up. Ah, yes, I'm sure he didn't know where the money was coming from, and it had nothing to do with the fact he fired like half his staff a month after it all dried up. Never let these people live it down. They were literally getting paid by Russia to push pro-Trump talking points. The U.S. government exposed them for it. Never, ever let them live this down. Never forget they are literally paid Russian propaganda. Our suspicions were literally confirmed.
Times more lines. Why bother spending another 200 quid on Fiverr to get that other 15 minutes animated? Remember, the show isn't the goal. The ad revenue is the goal. The marketing is the goal. So, keep it short. Keep it cheap. Keep it efficient. Efficiency is on a lot of people's minds at the moment. A lot of that's due to the new so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which US President Trump established via executive order, despite the fact that you're not supposed to be able to establish departments via executive order. Run by noted Path of Exile noob and seeming Nazi Elon Musk and a small handful of...
It's so wild watching Asmongold, like, glaze Elon after seeing him rip into Elon, after much goading from his audience, by the way. He tried not to cover it, but he eventually did. And he ripped into Elon when he did it, to be fair, over the fake Path of Exile and fake Diablo accounts. Like, this is Elon just lying about his achievements to make people think he's a genius. The main criticism that the left leverages at Elon, the one that is like the roots to the tree of criticism of Elon, he admits and even calls out how blatant and cringe and shameless he was about doing this, how inarguable it is that he did it, and how he's lying about not doing it in order to keep this image that he's like an overachiever, that he's so cool and awesome up. And meanwhile, he falls for the same shit when Elon promises he's totally dealing with inefficiencies in our government. You can't trust this guy not to lie about his achievements in video games, but you'll trust him when he says that he's gutting the government's inefficiency and that he's not gutting programs that are really important. Like, the level of double standard and the willingness to look past red flags that they'll acknowledge in order to make it, to frame something even more serious as a good thing and to not look deeper into it. It's so, I don't know what to call it. Is it dumb? Is it on purpose? Is it just to keep the masses of parrots that repeat what the right-wing demagogues tell them to say ignorant? I don't know what the goal is here.
Young boys, for some reason. Doge? Most embarrassing fascist ever, holy shit. Doge has made headlines since Trump's inauguration for dismissing large swathes of federal employees near arbitrarily, allegedly being involved with that illegal blockage that stopped members of Congress from entering the Department of Education, and obviously a whole bunch more. Despite the name, it bears pointing out that reducing unnecessary government overspending, making America more efficient to save the taxpayer from having their money wasted, is obviously not the purpose of Doge or of Musk. I'm not expecting to blow any minds by pointing...
It's not, but it's a very popular idea, which is why when Elon says he's doing it, Americans so desperately want it to be true. You are trying to get the truth to people who do not want to believe the truth because it would mean the world is less hopeful than they want to believe it is. Trump offered a very tantalizing promise that's hard to think, oh, this is too good to be true. I should think about this for a second, when there's even a fraction of a percentage chance that he's not lying about it being possible, you know? It's wishful thinking. Turned up to 11.
Pointing this out. Generally, you don't want to take people who do Nazi salutes at their word after all, but the real objectives here include A, shifting control of public life and social institutions from the state to the private sector, you know, the boring company thing dialed up to 11,000 and on a national scale, and B, directly quashing any threat to himself or his companies. Just recently, Doge fired the FDA employees responsible for reviewing his Neuralink brain chips, for instance. Musk's power grab has a parallel in Trump's own drive for re-election, in that both men stood to lose money, influence, and maybe even their freedom if they didn't force themselves into positions above the law and above public bodies. With Doge, efficiency is the justification, not the goal. But they are far from the first to present it as a goal. In a sense, Musk and Doge are only the inevitable culmination of neoliberalism's decades-long valorization of efficiency, the ideal of country as business, streamlining society to improve it. So today,
there's such a desperation from the rest of the left to blame Democrats for this, and I think there's blame to be thrown out. Like, the Democrats didn't operate, or progressives in general across the Western world didn't operate perfectly. I can mostly only speak for America, but on a policy level, like, the Democrats cooked. I would happily have a policy debate any day. Like, you genuinely could not win a debate on policy comparing, like, the right and the left in America in particular. Like, especially under Biden's administration. Like, man, I covered so much of that motherfucker's policies, it's seared into my brain, okay? I hardly have to bring up links to refer to most of them. And this is an old administration that's not even active anymore. So it's like I've looked into the policy. On a policy level, the Democrats, the left in general, across the Western world, do a pretty good job. But policies, as Rizkor said very well, policies don't win elections. Not in this day and age. So many people vote based off of vibes, and they vote based off of lofty promises. Unless the Democrats are willing to heavily invest in expanding their messaging, such that their policies are more widely known, and the benefits of their policies are more widely known. Like, for instance, how many Americans even knew what a $6,000 child tax credit actually was? Like, Kamala Harris kept saying it over and over again, as if most Americans know what that means. There is a surprising amount of Americans who are literally illiterate. Like, they can't read, okay? Do you think that what percentage of Americans can't read? Well, let me check. Percent of Americans that can't read. In the United States, 54% of adults have a literacy below 6th grade reading level. So 54%, more than half of American adults have a less than 6th grade reading level. Their literacy is below that of sixth grade reading level. Damn, yeah, well, it's about to get a lot worse with the Republicans. Why do you think Trump won, dog? Why do you think that's the exact same margin by which Trump won? Anyway, so illiteracy is a massive problem, and when more than half the adults in the country can't read above a sixth grade reading level, you have to understand that any level of, like, that's why Trump speaks to the average American. He speaks to the average, because he speaks to the lowest common denominator. Mind you, common denominator. There are a lot of those people. And so when you're unable to speak and message to those people who are just genuinely stupid, like, I'm just going to say it, they're stupid people. When you can't message to stupid people and make them understand that you're helping them, then the stupid person who's hurting them is going to be the one who gets their support. And Donald Trump spoke to these stupid people, the kind of people who literally couldn't read to find out that he's lying to them if they tried. Anyway.
Let's engage with that justification, because even if Musk and his little dweeb squad weren't lying, they'd still be wrong. Because, again, society's kind of like a video essay. DOGE has recently targeted the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, with cuts experts say have the potential to significantly reduce the US's weather forecasting abilities, despite the country having been hit with...
Humanity must be wiped out for its crimes. We will suffer for our votes.
27 separate billion-dollar-plus natural disasters in 2024 alone, and despite the inevitability of that number rising further still as we continue to shred our planet. The last step in my editing process is adding a score of either downloaded or original tracks to add to a video's mood. This one's original, in fact, but it would have been way more efficient for me not to bother making it, to use solely downloaded tracks. Come to think of it, plenty of people don't bother adding a score to their essays at all. In tandem with DOGE's federal expenditure cutting, Trump recently mandated an end.
What he's getting at is a really good point here. I think I'm going to cut it because I don't want to play too much of the video, and I want people to go click on the original video's link and watch it and give the video watch time, engagement, etc., etc. But I do want to get at what he's leading into reminds me of, or makes me think of. Pillar of Garbage is a great example. This is someone who puts a lot of work into the videos they make. A lot of work. And they're getting good viewership, but I've had videos that outperform this video, or even some of Pillar of Garbage's best videos. And I'm not going to say I don't put work into my content, but I'd hazard to guess Pillar of Garbage puts in more. By that I mean Pillar of Garbage definitely puts in more work into the average video than I do. And most of his videos do better than mine, but I've had some that did better than some of his best, right? And that is, I think, a perfect example of how, even within the left, quality does not equal proportional success. It doesn't. The internet literally rewards you for frequency, for quantity over quality, for incisive, or what should I say? Or what am I thinking of? Incendiary political statements that upset people and offend, clickbait, like that kind of stuff, like shameless cost-cutting, corner-cutting behaviors are rewarded by online algorithms. He's talking about different ways in which a creator could really put a lot more work into their content to really bring it around into something beautiful, something that's artistic and representative of their vision. But then again, you could cut a bunch of corners, make just as much, if not more money in the long run, and then immediately get to work on your next video, which is going to make you even more money, and it's going to be less work for more money. The more shameless you are, the more corners you cut, the less married to integrity you are as a creator, the more the internet rewards you. And while the right lacks any form of integrity, this means they can maximize their efficiency. And this means that they benefit immensely across the board in a way that someone like Pillar of Garbage who's like making these beautifully like home crafted apple pies can't make as much money as the factory churning out apple pies in industrial quantities and selling them to Walmart in bulk, right? You know, it's just the market is becoming so much more focused on slop, you know? Even I have to lean into making somewhat sloppish content to get by, right? You know, you got to upload frequently. You got to cover a lot of topics, you know? I don't think it really necessarily harms the quality of my content necessarily, but I would like to be able to take the time to make a, you know, well-crafted video essay every once in a while, but the internet would not really reward that amount of effort put in. My time would be much better spent doing a bunch of streams instead and uploading the clips from said streams. And it's just sad that this factor also contributes to the fact that, like, truth tellers are not as capable of reaching a wide audience as lie spreaders. And this really just kind of supports that sort of saying that the lie makes it halfway around the world before the truth has had time to put on its pants. That quote resonates with me a lot because it just keeps on proving itself true. What a great video by Pillar of Garbage. Tell me down below in the comments what you thought of it. And please, if you enjoyed what you saw of it, go watch the rest on Pillar of Garbage's channel. Link down below in the description. Click on that. Go watch. Go subscribe. Go leave a like and a comment. I just left a like. And I'm going to leave a comment after the fact when I watch the rest of this video after stream myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys enjoyed my video, consider leaving a like, a comment, a sub, so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload more videos. I really do appreciate it, and it means so much if you offer some support on the channel. It's totally free, and it helps a ton, of course. And finally, or not finally, but if you also want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias linked down below in the description. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, you can afford it and you feel like it, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good one.